sports update. In baseball tonight, the Cleveland Guardians look to make it 6 in a row as they continue their 3-game series with Detroit. Cleveland opened the series with a 7-5 extra inning win last night. First pitch comes at 6:40 with Gavin Williams on the mound for Cleveland, taking on the Tigers' Jack Flaherty. With their win last night, Cleveland pulled within 2.5 games of the Red Sox for the final AL wildcard spot. The Reds are back at 500 with their win over the Cardinals earlier today. Spencer Steer homered and drove in 5 runs, helping Brady Singer and the Cincinnati Reds beat the Cards 6-2. The Reds currently set 2.5 back of the final wildcard spot. Tonight, the Columbus Crew go on the road to take on the New York City FC. First kick is tonight at 7:30. This update was sponsored by the BMI Federal Credit Union, voted the best credit union for the past 7 years in a row by CBUS Top Picks. Visit bmifcu.org to learn more. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh! Grab record for the touchdown. Kraft shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Oh, yeah. Great to have you with us on Wednesday, September 17th. Another edition of the Buckeye Show. I'm Dylan Tyrer, filling in for Brandon Beam. With me is Justin Zwick, former Ohio State quarterback. We've got Isaiah running things back there. Guys, how's it going? It's good to do this with you, Justin.
Well,
the very first time you and I have worked together.
My very first time having to hit the on button, too. So I hope I did that correctly. Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay, great.
Yeah, you did it.
No.
Hey, and if you need anything, I got you over here, too.
You know, baby steps for me and my, in the new radio deal here. But, yeah, excited, 3-0 the Buckeyes are, and we're on to an off week here.
Yeah. How did you always approach the off week, the bye week, however you want to call it? Like, do you guys chill at all, or are you still working hard? Like, how does that work?
Oh, it all depends on how the season's going. And unfortunately, back, in 2004, come bye week, it probably wasn't going so well. So it was it's one of those things. I mean, they get 2 of them nowadays, but back then, it was a chance for us to, have a hard week of practice, and then they would kind of let us get out around 2:00 on a Friday. And if you didn't have class or anything, you may get home and watch your high school team play, just a chance to get back and get out of there for a little bit, kind of, decompress, from everything that's going on. But, I imagine these guys will be doing the same. The way that game went, I'm guessing they're having a pretty tough week this week, and just trying to correct some things and really go over and find out what went wrong. Even though we won by multiple touchdowns and it was all good, it's a good week just to kind of recenter yourself, look at things, see how the first 3 games went, and I'm sure those guys will have some time off on Saturday. I might actually be playing golf with a couple of them.
Well, with that in mind, like this show, since there's no game, we're not going to preview the Ohio State-Washington matchup or anything like that. We're going to kind of reflect. I want to talk about, Julian Sayins and what you think about him in these first 3 weeks, maybe some of the other position groups, and we'll finish off the show actually going around the Big Ten and kind of getting a vibe check, what we think about some of these other Big Ten teams. But, before we get into college football, have you been paying much attention to the NFL so far this year?
Unfortunately, I am a Browns fan, so I check in on those guys, and then I watch other football just to see good football on Sundays. But we got a lot of – it's fun. The amount of guys we have in the league from Ohio State is just really cool. And they're all starters. They're all they step right in, and they're players, So it's a lot of fun to see what those guys do week in and week out, and, the amazing plays they make. And, we have – we're going to talk about some receivers, and we got a bunch of them in the league.
Yeah, that's the thing, because, I have been thinking over the course of this last week, because there are so many good Ohio State wide receivers in the NFL, and they're in different situations, right? Like Emeka Egbuka is obviously really flashing right now with the Bucs. Garrett Wilson had a great week 1 with Justin Fields in the Jets. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. had a pretty nice week 1 as well, and it got me thinking, which one of these guys is really the best right now, or in the best situation in the NFL? And I went to the Ohio State website to make sure I had all the right wide receiver, or the correct wide receivers. And I'm looking at all of the different guys in the NFL. I'm like, oh, impact player here, impact player here, impact player here. I had forgotten about some of the other wide receivers too, like Jackson Smith and Jigba. I completely forgot about.
He's out on the West Coast. It's easy to forget.
Yeah, I forgot about him. I forgot about Chris Olave, but it really got me thinking about these different situations. And, all due respect to Curtis Samuel, to Paris Campbell, to Noah Brown.
Yeah.
But
I was going to say, we got some older guys. It's amazing.
Exactly. But between Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., JSN, and Emeka Egbuka, who do you think is the best Buckeye wide receiver right now in the NFL? It's a very, very hard decision.
It is. It is. When you ask who's the best, that's just a really tough call. Who's in the best situation? I think that's a little bit easier to go off of. But,
like if you had to pick one of these guys, if you're a GM and you're starting a team.
One of these guys, I'm probably going Marvin Harrison.
Just because of the tools, right?
He's just so big, he can be outside. If you're starting from scratch, you want to have that big, wide out on the outside that can go make plays for you. And I think he just checks all those boxes now. Golly, Terry's really awesome. Garrett's great. I just don't know. How do you pick one of those? Can we just munch them all together and somehow come up with one perfect receiver? Because it's really tough to decide which one is the best out of there, or which one you would want to go with, I guess.
It's kind of interesting because they've all flashed in different ways and at different times too. Like Terry McLaurin is off to a slower start this year, 7 catches for 75 yards, and he hasn't scored yet. But I think maybe body of work, you would go with him over anybody else. He was great last year with Jaden Daniels. Chris Olave, I feel like really early in his career, he was like, wow, this guy is something, and he's dealt with some injury issues, unfortunately. And you talked about the situation, like he hasn't had a great quarterback deal the last few seasons. Garrett Wilson, I think you could say the same thing with the quarterback. For whatever reason, didn't really work with he and Aaron Rodgers. Now he's got his college buddy and Justin Fields back, and he was a monster week 1. Last week, a little bit more quiet. Fields had trouble throwing the ball. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think all the hype is there, the tools are there, but he hasn't really produced or really found that connection yet with Kyler Murray out in Arizona. And then the last 2 guys on my list are very, very interesting. Jackson Smith-Njigba had a pretty nice rookie year, and he's off to a great start this year. He's a volume machine, 17 catches for 227 yards. Statistically, the best start of any of these wide receivers I've talked about. But nobody has more touchdowns so far than Emeka Egbuka. He feels like he has a great connection already with Baker Mayfield. And I think you and I were talking about it before we hopped on live here. He's probably got the best quarterback situation of anybody here, right? And we saw that with Baker on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, as we sit right now, I do think that is the case. And, Emeka is also, you heard about week 1 where he kind of called his own shot, like, hey, we need to go do this. That took me back to the national championship game where they show that sideline clip of him saying, we need to run a go route on this when he's inside leverage here. He's just, and they all are smart and understand the game that way, but it's just funny how he just continued 2 years in a row. He's calling his own shot. He's making big plays, at the end of the game. For a rookie to be doing that and have that confidence and, that understanding of their system and the plays and, what the defense is giving him. That's huge and will only take him, far in his career. But Terry, had to hold out coming into the year. He's got a good quarterback up there, but they just can't protect the guy. He's getting hit every other play, so that's going to make it tough for a receiver to have a lot of yards. Chris, they got Spencer Rattler throwing in the ball. I don't think they had any great choices down there to spin that rock. And then Garrett, we'll see what happens with Chris or with Justin Fields this year. And then JSN, he's got Donaldson out there. He likes to throw the rock around. So, it's early in the year, but these, I think they're going to get things going. I think all these guys at the end of the year, we're going to be sitting saying, they could be all 1,000-yard receivers. Yeah. In all reality, that's not even being silly or biased. That's very well could happen.
You're 100% right about that. And, as far as accolades go, you think NFC Player of the Week 1 went to J.J. McCarthy for what he did in the fourth quarter against Chicago? Mm-hmm. I thought Emeka was robbed of the NFC Player of the Week 1. Yeah, what he was able to do.
I agree with you on that, and especially with the exclamation point of having that winning touchdown catch, in the back of the end zone. Everybody just loves to fall in love with the quarterback, and when something good happens, and a lot of anticipation of JJ starting his first game, and pulling out a win and a kind of a shocker in the fourth quarter when he didn't really do much the rest of the game. That just is how it goes. That's how everybody loves the quarterback, right?
All right. As we talk about this quarterback wide receiver connection, and I am curious because in some situations, like I feel like a great receiver or a great receiver room can obviously significantly help out a quarterback. I really think about Cincinnati right now, and I feel like there's still faith and hope in Cincinnati because Jake Browning has T. Higgins and he has Jamar Chase. But can a wide receiver make a quarterback, or is it really a great quarterback is kind of making a wide receiver, if you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we know who Devontae Adams is if he doesn't start his career with Aaron Rodgers, if that makes any sense.
There's something to that. Now, you got to have a good offensive line because you could have a good quarterback, but if he doesn't have time to sit back there and find you or throw you the ball, then you're not going to have those numbers. But I think if you have a guy who has the confidence to really spin it into, maybe a small window, into double coverage, or, like something that Aaron Rodgers has been known to do throughout his entire career, right? Like, if you have a guy like that, somebody who's probably going to go down as one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, yeah, that's going to elevate your play just because he's going to try some things and he's going to do some things that are just going to wow you. And on the other end of it, you just got to catch it, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying Devontae Adams or, these guys don't make plays for their quarterback, because on the flip side of things, when a quarterback knows what they have out there, they're willing to take a little bit more chance, because they know he's going to either go up and knock the ball down. It's not a 50-50 ball when you're throwing to guys like this. It's 70-30 ball because you expect him to go make a play for you. So they work well together, but again, it's just the big uglies up front that have to keep the quarterback on his feet.
Well, we're talking about this quarterback wide receiver connection. We're talking about the offensive line. We're really going to discuss that for the entirety of the Buckeye Show, but I don't know if any quarterback in the country, as far as it goes with college football, can be more comfortable or has more faith in his wide receivers than Julian Sayins. So when we come back, we're going to evaluate the play of the Ohio State quarterback through his first 3 weeks. That is coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
The Ohio Lottery's new $5 scratch-off Win Big has a top prize of $100,000. And with the Ohio Lottery app, all non-winning tickets can be entered into a My Lotto Rewards second chance promotion to win Cleveland or Cincinnati football tickets or even a trip to football's biggest game. And that's more exhilarating than a cooler of sports drink dumped on you. So exhilarating. Win big from the Ohio Lottery. A celebration waiting to happen. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Imagine what it would feel like getting tackled head-on by a 240-pound linebacker. You'd be in serious pain, right? But if you're unbuckled in a car crash, at just 50 miles an hour, you become a deadly projectile that can slam into other passengers with 8 times that amount of force. Don't let someone else take the hit. Buckle up and visit buckleup.ohio.gov to learn more. Brought to you by ODOT and ODPS.
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Toyota has more all-wheel drive or electrified hybrid choices than anyone else, like the family-size Highlander and the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Now through September 30th, get a new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander with 4.75 APR financing. Or you can get 5.75 APR financing on hybrid models with approved credit through TFS. Plus, you get 2 years no-cost maintenance. For complete details, go to Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
The Donato's Pep Duo Pizza is back, and it brought a pal. The Donato's Pep Duo, loaded with crispy pepperoni and 3 kinds of cheese. Now get a large Pep Duo pizza for just $14.99. Also back, Donato's deliciously dippable pepperoni cheese bread. Now on the $5 Pizza Pals menu for a limited time. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
Hey Buckeyes, I'm John Chabot with Surest, a digital-first health plan designed to make healthcare simple and affordable right here in Ohio. At Surest, we believe healthy small businesses are vital to our economy. That's why we're ready to give your small business a VIP opportunity through our small business sweepstakes. Winners will be recognized on the sideline at an Ohio State home football game. To enter, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Surest. That's SUREST. Surest, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fan's YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Scotty Vegas here. Smartest bet of the season? Bet on yourself. I needed a weight loss plan that fit into real life. Tailgates, road trips, kids' nights, and still lets you eat. Week 1 with Awaken 180, I was down 6. By the end, 45 pounds gone. That's with wings, chili, meatballs, sausages, all the good stuff. It's the Tailgate transformation. Structure, coaching, and food that tastes like a win. Make the smart play. Start your Tailgate transformation at awaken180weightloss.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Blue skies, light winds, low humidity, and pretty warm. Summer-like on this Wednesday. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Overnight, dropping back down to around 60 degrees. Light winds and clear skies. Plenty of sunshine, low humidity, and hot on Thursday with highs in the upper 80s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to The Buckeye Show.
Dylan Tyrer, Justin Zwick, Isaiah Jacob back with you on a Wednesday evening. It is the Buckeye Show. Isaiah, we didn't talk to you in that first segment, by the way. Which Ohio State wide receiver would you take out of all the guys that we brought up?
I would say the one that's in the best position right now is JSN because, like you said, he's a volume monster. Like, and Sam Darnold is throwing him the rock a ton, but he has, like, no competition for touches right now, and that's why on my fantasy team he is popping off.
All right. Fair enough. From a fantasy
standpoint, yeah, I guess that works.
I like that. Well, I guess you can play. Do they still have fantasy football for college? I did that a bunch of years ago. I don't even know if they still have it. Do you know if they have it, Isaiah?
They still have it, and I think Jeremiah Smith went first overall probably in every single draft.
Well, Julian Sayins probably an underdog draft
he's a sleeper, I'm
if
sure.
you're playing college fantasy football. But, I want to talk about the Buckeye quarterback through his first 3 weeks here because, man, oh, man, you just didn't know what the guy was going to be coming into the season. And again, you and I were talking during that break there. I went to the Texas game. I had no idea what to expect. I think my expectations were hopeful for Julian Sayins. I mean, the guy is a huge big-time recruit coming in. You got to expect he's got talent. But he didn't know what it was going to look like against a good Texas team. And I thought he looked tremendous. I was texting my buddies halfway through this game like, this guy might be one of the best quarterbacks in college football already. He looks extremely poised, and I thought that was the big thing. He just looked so poised in that game. The moment wasn't too big, and when he had to make throws, they were on the money. I loved game number 1 from Sayin.
Yeah, I mean, you're out west. It's that California cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's what they're saying. Guy's just smooth, and, nothing really gets to him. And, I mean, that Texas game, they didn't ask him to do a ton, but like you said, when they did, he was putting the ball on the money. We had, 2 or 3 drops in that game. His numbers could have been even better if we grab all those. But he really, and I think that probably gave him a lot of confidence, getting that game, getting that first big win in the shoe. and then he's able to come out against Grambling and kind of just let it fly. And then we see all the fun that we can have with this offense. But, for a first-year starter, a guy who is, a redshirt freshman, I guess, right? And, for him to come in and have the start to a season with opening up with, the number one team in the country that everybody thought was just the best roster out there, and Arch Manning's the best quarterback in college football, and then Julian comes out and just, battles him. And really, I think everybody walked away from that game saying, I think just Julian Sayins could be better than Arch Manning at this moment in time, right? And, that's because he was so poised and just so chill in the pocket and just going through his reads and getting the ball out to his playmakers, which is all you have to do in this offense with these guys that they have and everybody that's built around him. Be the point guard and just get the ball out. And he does that quickly and efficiently. And you can't ask for anything more for these first three starts.
Yeah, he's got weapons for days, and we're actually going to talk about some of those guys coming up in our next segment. But outside of the game against Texas, it's not necessarily like Sayin has been tremendously challenged by the opponent. Grambling and Ohio, I think there are some things against Ohio that the Buckeyes probably want to clean up. But what have you thought of Julian Sayins? Because while they are lighter opponents, there are still things a quarterback can do to get better. There are still things that you're looking at. Is he doing this? Is he on time with everything? What have you thought about him in those two games since?
I think he has been really good. I think he is a young quarterback. I think he's missed a couple things. And I think it's more due to, let's just say, like a pre-snap read. All right, they got a safety and a corner over on Jeremiah's side. Typically, you're going to say, all right, they're going to double him. He's automatically going to his, going away from that because, all right, that's doubled. They're taking that away. And I think he's missed a couple things, just on that kind of pre-snap. All right, instead of saying, all right, I'm going to drop back, I'm going to peek just to see what's going on over here. And then I'll make my way over to the other side. I think he's pre-snap, just making his mind up in the huddle is what Tress used to call it, MMIH, where, all right, I see this right now. I'm going to go here no matter what because they should be taking him away over there when, in fact, oh, no, we probably could have got him the ball or it did open up. So I think there's been a couple of those. I think last week against Ohio, we all saw the two on the goal line, basically Brandon Ennis with that little, quick motion right back out to the flat. Probably could have got him the ball. CJ leaked out on the one on the other end early in the game. Probably could have got him the ball, but I think both of those times, I think he had some pressure from the end and the tackle kind of got out there. I don't know if it got in his vision a little bit, and then he's just off of it because, hey, I don't see what's out there right now, so I'm just coming off right away. And, I feel like that has something to do with it because those seem like reads. I mean, the Brandon Ennis one seemed like that's the main read to me, right? Because just the motion and coming right back out, like that ball should have been out right away. I just think maybe not seeing it, not feeling comfortable getting that ball out there, and so he automatically goes and starts looking elsewhere. But, I mean, to be completing, just under 80% of his passes, the interceptions, we'll clean those up. And the tip ball against Ohio, that always stinks for a quarterback because you have a guy open and, those big uglies in front of you get their paws on it and, you never know where it goes from there. And then, the second one, you just, held onto the ball. But what a freak thing for that ball just to go right into a defensive lineman's belly. Just some bad luck stuff happening. But I think he's handled it well. He comes right back in, he goes over, talks to Ryan, and, he's not afraid to be coached hard, which Ryan talks about all the time about how hard he coaches these quarterbacks and how he wants them to see exactly what he's seeing and understand the play like he understands it. And I think Julian's done a great job of that, and they're only going to build on what he's been able to do. And, we haven't played that many people, but to go 16-16 on air is pretty impressive. To do that when there's other people on the field and you got people trying to hit you and rush you and everything else, it makes it that much more impressive. So, I mean, he's doing the right things. He's getting the ball out quickly, decisively. They're almost handoffs. I mean, it reminds me of like C.J. Stroud and these guys, back in the day. The ball's just there. Like, they're just running down the field. Oh, there it is. And, it's almost just an easy catch for him most of the time. So I'm very encouraged about how he's played, and he's only going to get better the more he sees, the more he takes shots downfield, the more confidence he's going to get. It's going to be a lot of fun towards the end of the year, I think.
Doesn't hurt that he's got the wide receiver room that he has, too. Yeah. Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Ennis, not to mention Max Clare. All those guys make it pretty easy. So far for Julian Sayins, 56 of 71 passing, good for a 78.9% completion percentage, just under 800 yards, 779, 8 touchdowns, and 3 picks. It might be good that he's got, those first 3 games, a little bye week, evaluate. What are the next steps for Julian Sayins as Ohio State gets into the Big Ten slate?
The next steps is doing it against Big Ten teams, right? Because it's going to be a little bit different than what we've seen the last couple of weeks. And, and against Texas, they didn't really ask him to do a lot. I don't think we want to go through the Big Ten season with that game plan that we had at Texas, right?
It's not going to work.
It did work, and it can work.
Over and over.
Over and over. Sooner or later, the dam's going to break, But I don't think we want to stay that way. So it's just going to be, and a lot goes to Brian Hartline as well. Like, how is he going to evolve as he's calling plays throughout the year? And what is he going to feel comfortable putting Julian in situations, at certain times? So there's a lot to it, but I think he's going to be able to look at these first 3 games and really get a feel for, the good stuff he did, and hey, we got to clean this stuff up if we want to be national champions, and they'll be okay. I think he has a good frame of work to go off of. He's got a ton of confidence going into this bye week, and the more they ask him to do, I think he's going to be fine. I mean, Ryan talked about it after the Texas game. We could have given him more today, and to have that be what the coaches are thinking coming out of your first start. That's a pretty good sign. So I think they feel really good about where he's at head-wise and just, his accuracy and everything else, to where they're going to want to use him and they're going to need to because we have all these weapons. You got to get him the ball and you got to score, a bunch of points these days. So, I'm very excited about it.
Football, sports in general are all about development, right? Like you draft a young player and hopefully they're going to become something. And I think college football is so unique in that you have an 18-year-old coming in, a guy fresh out of high school, right? And he's going to be 22 years old by the time that he's leaving your program and graduating. That is a lot of development over time. In your experience, within one season, within, 3 games in a bye week, can you develop? Like, how do you develop? Because I imagine he's going to be, at the end of this season, a completely different quarterback mentally, maybe even physically, than when he started this year, just because this experience is so valuable. Like, can you explain to me how that works or how valuable the experience actually is? Because, for somebody that hasn't done that before, played college football, it's such a foreign concept where we're just like, we think about it and we say, yeah, this guy's going to get better as the year goes on. But what does that feel like as a player?
Well, I think it has it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But the more reps you get, the more you see, the more you're in the game. And it almost falls on all right, I got this blitz coming. I know he's here. I know that he's supposed to have him. And throughout the year, all those things are working, right? So you just get that confidence of, it may be the Michigan game. I got this blitz coming, but I've seen this blitz before. We're in the same coverage. My back got that person. We all know what we're supposed to be doing. So as he grows, the entire team's going to be growing, and it's going to be, everybody's going to be better at the end of the year because they're going to get more looks, more experience, and just being in the trenches, throughout these 10, 11 games. So, the quarterback, yes, the more you see, the more film you're watching, you're able to just maybe get things quicker. Those little things where he's taking one side of the field away pre-snap, maybe that doesn't happen as he continues to see, all right, so this is what they're doing. These are the looks they're giving me to kind of confuse me that they're going to double Jeremiah. Early on in the year, I was off that right away because, I didn't want to mess with double team. But now, 8, 9 games in, I'm seeing how they're playing us or what they're trying to do, the cat and mouse games that they're playing with me. And he's going to understand a little bit of, I'm going to take that peek over here and I'm going to maybe just hold off a split second because Jeremiah might come open or whoever it is out there might break open at the last second. And, then I can get him a ball for a first down. So just the more he sees that and the more he does it, the more he's coached on it and the more Brian opens up a playbook and they really get a feel for what they're trying to do as far as, the run pass game and mix it all together and, the play action and 3-4 tight ends in and one, it's just amazing the different things they can do. Everybody talks about Matt Patricia and how the defense just is amazing and they're doing all this different stuff. The offense really is doing the same type of thing.
Uh-huh.
You have 3 wideouts that could be, first round picks at some point in time. But then we're playing 3 tight ends a lot. And we have tight ends that are going down the field making plays. And it's just so hard for a defense. To talk to Matt Patricia last week on the postgame show, kind of ask him, like, how hard is it for, these defenses that we're going against to plan against all of our wideouts, all of our weapons. And then, they're going to throw 3 tight ends in there as well and still stretch the field on you guys, because if that happens, usually it's a run situation, right? But we just have so many athletes and so many different things we can do on the offensive side of the ball that it's really going to be interesting to see where this goes, because are they doing things now to set up stuff for later in the year? Just trying to get people to have to learn how to defend certain things. And then maybe we go away from it towards the end of the year. Like there's so many games they can play, and it's just amazing because we have so many athletes that can fill so many different spots, and they can all do a little bit of everything.
Well, you said it right there. So many athletes that can fill so many different spots. And there was something you said at the very beginning that I liked, that it's not just the quarterback that's going to grow this year. It's the entire team. So coming up next, we're going to talk about the entire team, what we've liked, and maybe some of the stuff that we haven't liked from all the different position groups on this Ohio State football team. It's the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
Good morning, Columbus. It's going to be a good day, and it's going to be big. With the biggest morning news team in Central Ohio, Good Day Columbus. The biggest news, weather, and traffic in town every day. Bringing you over 5 hours of breaking news, live reports, and continuing coverage, and stories that'll make you smile. First Morning Weather gets you ready for the day ahead, and Steer Clear Team Traffic will get you to work on time. Good Day Columbus, weekday mornings on ABC 6. It's going to be a good day.
Hello, it's Robin Roberts here.
Hey guys, it's George Stephanopoulos here.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Strahan here. Wake up with Good Morning America.
Robin, George, Michael, GMA, America's favorite #1 morning show. The morning's first breaking news, exclusive interviews, what everyone will be talking about that day. Put some good in your morning and start your day with GMA.
Good Morning America.
Tomorrow morning starting at 7 on ABC 6.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Dylan Tyrer, Justin Zwick, Isaiah Jacob back with you on the Buckeye Show. We were just talking a ton about Julian Sayins and really what we've liked about Julian Sayins to start this year. I don't think there are too many things, maybe hardly anything you can complain about when it comes to Julian Sayins. Why don't we just break it down with some of the other position groups? It's a bye week for Ohio State, a great time to reflect, so let's do it. And start off with the running back room. And I think that maybe is one area that has surprised this year. Like I thought I was a big James Peoples believer coming into the season. Thought it'd be a little bit more dynamic. C.J. Donaldson, that big power back. Neither one of those guys has necessarily had a ton of success this year. But Bo Jackson, he's been the guy that's looked very dynamic and explosive for the Buckeyes in the backfield. So what do we think going forward about this group?
Well, I mean, I think Bo is the one that has jumped off the screen at us here the last couple of weeks. I thought James and C.J. have done a nice job. You know, they mostly played against Texas, you know, in that first game. We didn't have many tackles for losses, you know. We just didn't have many 6 to 10 yard gains. It was just a lot of 3 to 4 yard stuff, which is, you know, we're going to get against a good defensive front, and it was our first game for the offensive line altogether. So there's, you know, it is what it is. But when you see Bo get out there, it just seems like he has that little extra burst to get. I don't know if you've seen the end zone view of that 65 yard run, but the window was not very big for him to get through. I mean, he went right through the middle of the offensive line and defensive line. There wasn't a ton of room for him to be running through there, and he was still able to make a couple guys miss and really break out. And we just haven't really seen that, I don't think, from the other guys. So we're going to need all three of them, and I think they're all serviceable backs, and they're going to do good things for us. But at this moment in time, I don't think there's any Buckeye fan that would be upset if Bo's on the field with the starters, coming into Washington for the first play of the game. Now, we're going to rotate and we're going to have all that go through, but, he's just something about him. He jumps off the screen at you in 200-yard games, basically coming in as a backup. that's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it's great, and it puts you in a pretty good position as well, because when Donaldson and Peoples were the presumed starters, the duo for Ohio State this year, and now you've really got a third guy in the equation that looks like he could be a piece and be a piece for you right now. So I'd say never a bad thing to have another option.
Especially when you think about last year, Quinshawn and Trey. I mean, you had two guys who are now playing in the NFL that are, and actually playing in the NFL. Yeah. It's not just like they were undrafted free agents. They were drafted and they have been playing. So you're going to need multiple guys. It's a long season with the playoffs and everything else. It's going to be a long season. You're going to need them all. And again, those holes that maybe we didn't see in the first few games for all three of these guys, they may start to get bigger. Right. They may start to get, and we may start to see some more of those 6 to 10 yard runs. And then, they of course have all the capabilities of busting one at any time.
Well, I'm a believer that for the most part, as long as you're staying healthy, an offensive line gets better throughout the year, more familiarity with each other. And this is a new group, a new offensive line coming together. So why don't we go there next? And that's one area. I think the pass blocking has been there for Ohio State. Has the run blocking been there necessarily? Have they gotten that push? Maybe not necessarily the way that you'd want, at least with, Donaldson, Peoples in there later in the game. They've been able to wear these teams down. Texas, there just wasn't a whole lot of room to do anything in that game. But, what's your opinion been of the Ohio State offensive line?
I've been impressed with them, for early in the season. It takes, I'm back in 2004, our first season starting is me and a lot of guys from my class, and they were all great players. It just took us a while to kind of get our feet underneath of us. And by the end of that year, we were a pretty darn good football team. So for these young guys to be stepping in, and I know we had 3 guys come back, basically your interior guys are all back, right? And then we, Austin Searveld, what a heck of a job he's doing. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, hey, he's our left tackle. No questions asked. We don't need to worry about that anymore. And, we got, a couple guys battling on the other side. That right guard position for me is probably one that is kind of, I don't want to say the weak link, but it just doesn't seem to be doing as well as I thought maybe, because, Tegra played all of last year, and, I just expected him. He's such a big dude, and I don't know what it is exactly, but it just doesn't feel, I don't want to say he's the starter. They're not benching him by any means. He's not playing that bad, but I'm just nitpicking on, what the offensive
hasn't
line
been as
like.
dominant.
Yes, hasn't been as dominant as you would expect him to be. Yes. Thank you for cleaning that up for me.
But, I got you.
But now we're starting to see Ethan kind of move into there a little bit. So I think they're still tinkering with what they want that offensive line to look like. And, you heard Ryan talk about, going back and looking at some of the red zone, because, after the game, he's like, well, is it the calls? Is it the scheme? Is it personnel? And, I heard him talk about the first couple plays down that red zone in the first year. He's like, we had it blocked. We just got to do a better job of finishing those blocks and getting that push so we can get into the end zone type thing. So I think they're going to have some, tough practices, inside drills, probably a lot of inside drill, which everybody hates because you're just pounding on everybody. But, that's just has to get done. You need those reps. You need to figure out how we're going to be able to get those 3 to 4 yards on the goal line when we absolutely have to.
Well, as far as it goes with an offensive line getting better throughout the year, I mean, even look at what happened with Ohio State last year. They dealt with multiple injuries.
They actually got better after the injuries. Yeah, when Donovan bumped out to left tackle, I mean, that kind of seemed to save things for us for some reason. But, so yeah, you can't do it, but it is hard. To your point, those guys, the more they play together, the more they realize it's the same thing with the quarterback, seeing the safeties or whatever. The D-line, linebackers are always messing with that offensive line, trying to get them to think this and that. But if you have a really good feeling for what your guy next to you is seeing and what he's going to do, that just makes you feel that much more confident in what you're doing.
We don't even need to talk about the other skill positions, I think, on offense. Like the wide receivers have been as expected. The one thing I'll say about tight end is I think it'll take some time with Max Clare, just understanding, how they are going to utilize him. You talked about some of the 3 tight end sets that Ohio State's utilizing, and I was hesitant going into the year because it's not like Ohio State has recruited the tight end position poorly. They just don't throw to the tight end a whole lot for whatever reason. So I didn't expect Claire to get used a ton this year, maybe the way he was, prior to coming to Ohio State at Purdue. But, I think he'll be a factor as the year goes on.
I 100% think he will. I think it was kind of just all right, so this is how Ohio State does it. Like coming from Purdue, you're coming to it's a different level, I would say. And so I think there's a little bit of that. Now, for as much as we typically, historically, haven't thrown to tight ends a lot, we've been using them a lot this year. I think Will Kazmarek has done a great job, as far as he's always been a decent blocker. I think he's gotten better at that. but he's also stretching the field. And, I think he's kind of put that into his game a little bit more, worked on that a lot. And then you throw in Max and, these young guys that are coming in. It's just, an embarrassment of riches down there.
Other side of the football, I don't think we can really say anything more about the linebackers. I think the linebacking play, Arvell Reese has been maybe the best linebacker in the country to start this year. The DBs have been very, very solid as well. Talk to me about the D-line. That was a big question mark coming into the season, and I think so far so good. Those guys have flashed at times.
Yeah, they 100% have. I think Caden Curry is just a monster right
now.
He's
big, man. He is big.
He's not like overly going to take you over, but he's just he's a big dude, big body. He's almost just a high motor guy, which just doesn't stop. He just keeps coming at you. And they're moving him around a little bit, start him on end, and then they're bringing him in, covering the center, and he's, getting pressure from there. That's huge because you want to rotate those middle guys. Edric Houston, he's been playing well. I know they had the freshman in there, I think, this last week who started at the tackle position. But for losing all those guys up front from last year and the beasts that they all were, these guys have filled in very well, and they're making their own name because this defense, they're giving up like 5 points a game right now. I mean, now granted, we know who we've played, but still, to pitch a shutout in any game is big. To hold Texas to 7 points is big, and that defensive line has a lot to do with that.
Well, Matt Patricia, you can tell that guy's been having fun scheming things up, and now it really starts. He's got a bye week to get ready for Washington, and then it's
and if I'm Washington's quarterback, I'm like, oh man, he's got a week. He's got a week to get after me. That's not going to be good.
Well, speaking of Washington, we've talked a lot about Ohio State, but why don't we talk about a little bit more of the Big Ten? Because I'll tell you one thing, man. I have been very impressed by the conference this year and the way that some of these teams have looked. So do a little vibe check around the Big Ten Conference when we come back. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we helped Tom.
Hi, my name's Tom. I've been a patient at Tri-State Men's Health, and I'm being treated for low testosterone. I didn't really notice the issue of just the energy and feeling slow in the middle of the day and waking up feeling as if I hadn't even gone to bed. When I walked into Tri-State Men's Health, I was extremely impressed from the get-go with the results of the treatment. I wake up in the morning now with clarity. I have had more energy in working out. I definitely have increased my strength. I would say that if there are men out there who experience some of the same problems that I did with inability to sleep well and waking up without feeling refreshed and having your energy flagging throughout the day, go see Tri-State Men's Health. It's changed my life and it'll change yours too.
Thanks, Tom. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Come on over to Heartland. Join our family.
Now, where can you get a full suite of business banking services served up by well-trained, caring employees with unquestionable integrity? It's right here at Heartland. Relationships matter. I'm Scott McComb. Come over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. fresh for everyone.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like the Kubota BX Series subcompact tractor, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the U.S., Z-Series mowers, and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment with 0% financing available or save up to $4,500. Now through September 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Morning Juice is now live on YouTube. Join Bobby Carpenter and Jeff Thidoff weekday mornings from 6 to 8.
Just search 971 The Fan to catch the live experience or watch on demand.
The Fan.
Jason Aldean, Full Throttle Tour 2026, powered by Patriot Mobile.
When the lights come on.
Friday, January 23rd, Nationwide Arena. With Nate Smith.
You set my world on fire.
And Laney Gardner.
Make it
Jason Aldean. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Jason Aldean live.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The best damn radio show in the land. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
Man, we are flying along on a Wednesday evening here. Had a great time talking about Ohio State, but heck, just go around the rest of the Big Ten Conference, why don't we? To remind you, I am Dylan Tyrer, filling in for Brandon Beam. Former Buckeye signal caller Justin Zwick is with me, and Isaiah Jacob is running the keys back there. What have you guys thought about the Big Ten Conference this year? Because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was on these airwaves going into the season, and I said I think the SEC is a better football conference right now than the Big Ten. I'm gonna talk my way out of that because this season I have been so impressed with the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten far and away right now is the best conference in college football.
I agree with you, and I think in recent years I felt the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I always look, go back to bowl season, and the SEC just, we don't care about those bowls because it's blah blah blah. It's like we all care about the bowl. We all care about winning. So the fact that we are able to go, year in and year out almost and have a better record in the bowl games playing SEC schools, that just tells me that we're playing some football up this way, and this year is no exception. I mean, how many teams do we have in the top 25? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty darn good, and a lot of them are up high and only climbing. So I'm very encouraged with what the Big Ten is throwing out there this year.
Yep, 7 teams in the top 25, 4 in the top 10. Isaiah, what are you thinking right now?
I don't blame you for coming in a little bit skeptical because I was too. Like the hype train for the Big Ten in the offseason was kind of crazy. Like they were so far past the SEC, but the way that Oregon, Illinois, even Michigan, I hate to say it, has looked up to this point, because those were kind of the ones you were worried about. You knew Penn State and Ohio State were going to look good, but it's that next tier. Are they going to be elite or just okay teams? And the bottom half of the top 25 for the SEC or the Big Ten looks pretty darn good right now.
I'm with you on that. I just think the overall strength this year, we know what it looks like at the top. The Ohio States, the Penn States, the Oregons, Illinois is even there this year. But, the bottom of the conference or the middle of the pack, I suppose, in the conference even looks very, very good. To go over things, Ohio State ranked number 1 right now, Penn State 2, Oregon 6, Illinois 9. The Indiana Hoosiers are at number 19, Michigan 21st in the country, then USC coming in, rounding out the top 25. All those teams have won a couple of games this season and looked good doing it. Michigan is the team with the loss to Oklahoma, and they play another big one this week against Nebraska. And I think for both of these teams, in a way, it's going to define their seasons. Does Michigan, kind of take off from here, or is it a loss to Nebraska, and where do we go? Or, for Dylan Raiola and Nebraska, is this a signature trademark win, and we're introducing ourselves as a team that could make some noise?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
1,000%. I got some Nebraska buddies who think this is their year. They're in love with this team. Their secondary is the best in college football, blah, blah, blah. This would be a big win if they were able to go up against this Michigan team who, they're in the top 25. Good for the Big Ten. I don't understand necessarily how they're in the top 25. But that being said, it is what it is.
Blood there, right?
No, none at all. But Nebraska's, one of those teams that, people are just waiting to pop off. And I think Rule down there is doing, a pretty decent job of getting things going. So that's a big game. I can't wait to tune into that one. Illinois is just, their backs last year, they were pretty solid as well. They've been, strong running football team, taking care of the ball, clock management, that sort of thing. And they're right back into it. But I think USC putting up all the points that they've been putting up, and just, that's a team that maybe, because we knew they always could score, I guess, but they could just never play defense, and they would always get in shootouts. But they seem to be playing pretty well here. So, if you can get one of those West Coast teams to kind of carry their weight for the Big Ten a little bit, and if USC can continue to win it, I think that would be good for the conference.
Hey, Jaden Mayava, he's kind of introduced himself to the Heisman conversation as well. I think Julian Sayins is kind of doing the same thing. There's some good games in the Big Ten Conference this week. The Apple Cup, Washington is going to play at Washington State, so a game of interest there. Illinois, who you just lauded, will play at Indiana. That's 7:30 on NBC Saturday night, so a good top 20 matchup there within the conference. Michigan, Nebraska, 3:30 on CBS. We talked about that. USC playing Michigan State. That's actually an 11 p.m. kick on Fox. I can't believe games
check those
start
highlights
that late.
out in the morning on that one.
Oregon is playing Oregon State this week, but the real interest for me is next week. Both Ohio State and Penn State are on byes this week, but Penn State comes out, and it's really their first test of the season. They will take on Oregon next week. What do we think about this game? Because this is an early big one in the Big Ten Conference. This is a season definer for a couple of these teams.
I wasn't sure what to expect out of Oregon, but this quarterback they have, when he come from UCLA,
yes,
I think, Dante Moore, I think he is legit. And that system has always been good. I think Dan Lanning is a really good football coach. Always has his guys ready to go. And I think he is a good, offensive mind there. They're calling plays and doing well. And Dante Moore just fit right in with them. So I think they are going to take it to Penn State. I'm not sold on Drew Aller and Penn State. I don't know what the love affair is or has been for the last couple of years. I remember when he was coming in here and playing Kyle McCord, and everybody's like, we could have had him, but we got Kyle. And it comes out, it's like, good. I'm glad he didn't come here, because look what just happened today. It's just always been, that sort of thing with this team in Penn State. And, that's a huge one. And I think Oregon's playing really good football, and I think they may go into Happy Valley and sneak one out.
Oregon is an interesting team to me because, I think last year they really proved that they have staying power. They are legit. I know Ohio State goes on the road there and the Buckeyes end up losing, and what happened in the Rose Bowl happened in the Rose Bowl, but that Oregon team was legit. Maybe a different path to that national championship game through the playoff, and they're the national champions.
Think
you know
about
what
them.
I mean?
They're like, we just had a great year, and then our first game we have to play Ohio State again.
Yeah, a different path. Who knows what happens? I know the Buckeyes are happy the way things worked out, but so many doubters this year, people just discounting Oregon coming into this season. I'm like, guys, this was the best team in the country for the entire regular season last year. I know there's a change at quarterback, but like you said, Moore has been very, very good so far this season. He's got numbers comparable to Julian Sayins, 78% completion percentage, 657 yards, 7 TDs, and 1 turnover, 1 pick.
That offense has always been a fun quarterback offense, right? So if you get the right guy in there who understands your system and what you're trying to do, the sky's the limit. They've put out quarterbacks with just crazy numbers, I feel like, year in and year out. And, this is going to be the same type of thing.
And I am with you. That game next week against Penn State, it is a good one. Probably the game of the season in the conference outside, within the conference, but, Ohio State, Texas,
of course,
a little bit different. But this is a big game. I don't know what the rankings are going to look like next week. Penn State will still be 2 because they're off in all likelihood, unless they somehow drop. And we'll see what happens with Oregon, but they're playing 0-3 Oregon State this week, so that should be a win. In all likelihood, it could be a top 5 matchup, depending on what happens right now.
Or what poll you're looking at. I mean, who knows? Yeah.
Right. It's 2 versus 6 in the AP poll right now, but that is a heck of a game, and I think the Ducks come away with the victory. Like, I know Jim Knowles is there, a defense a little bit different for Penn State, but
yeah, but when he came here, what'd they tell us? Oh, it takes a year or 2 to really learn this defense.
That's true.
Right? So
That's
it's like,
true.
all right, well, you're in, game 3, buddy. Get ready to go. Oregon's coming to town. Hope they know what they're doing.
And I'm with you. I think it comes down to the quarterback play. And, for whatever reason, folks, Drew Aller has the tools, right? He has the tools. That's what everybody says. He's still probably going to be a high draft pick because of those tools. It's early in the season, but it's not like he's blowing anybody's socks off, running away with the Heisman, anything like that. In fact, nobody's run away with the Heisman right now. But I just think it comes down to that quarterback play, and Moore has looked good, and Aller's looked pedestrian.
I think it can be, quarterback play, but it's also what you play calling, right?
Yeah.
And the athletes that you have. And, Julian Fleming was maybe, a third, fourth guy in our rotation. Goes out there and you didn't hear from them all year long. It's like they don't. It's almost like they don't want to use their wideouts and actually spread the ball around. It's just something about James Franklin and his staff. They always seem to mess something up, or they don't get it right. And I don't know if maybe they're using Drew to his best capabilities, or maybe they are, and we just don't know because they see him every day in practice, and we only hear what the talking heads want us to.
Nope, I'm with you on that, and I'm excited for another big week of college football. That that Michigan game against Nebraska, that is a big one, and obviously Illinois, Indiana, that's going to be some fun too. Well, guys, this was a fun show. Justin, I enjoyed. I enjoyed doing it with you for the first time. Isaiah, this is, I think, the first time you and I have worked together with you producing the show. So thanks for it, man. I had a good time with you.
It went too quick.
I know. We'll do it again the rest of the week. I think you and I back together tomorrow and Friday as well with Pat Murphy.
Yes, sir.
All right, we've got that to look forward to. Coming up after this, some Blue Jackets talk. Bob McElligott, Jody Shelley on the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. They're going to be joined by Blue Jackets General Manager Don Waddell ahead of camp that opens tomorrow. Thanks for being with us on the Buckeye Show. It's The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan.
All the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
My toilet's clogged, backed up too. The sink is running slow. Water's backed up everywhere. Oh, please don't overflow.
Clogged drain, no problem. It's 93 or free. I'll clear any drain or you don't pay with a 1-year guarantee. It's 93 or free. Guaranteed. Call 614-683-9911. Call the folks at Buckeye, night or day.
It's the Ohio Lottery's all-new $5, $20, or $100 scratch-off. With 3 simple cash prizes, it'll have you saying,
Wow, that's what I call winning.
with tracks like... And the anthem celebrating the first of its kind $2 ticket. The $5, $20, or $100 scratch-off is an absolute hit.
Ohio Lotto's got the good.
Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up, but it was tough.
Ohio State championship quarterback Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction, but I also needed the right support system. I remember seeing that CareSource heart around town and just knowing they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. And that means the world to so many children today. My name is Cardale Jones, and I was a CareSource kid.
CareSource, your Medicaid, your choice. Visit caresource.com/Medicaid.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club.
the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the